Now for part 2 of our finance written assignment. So we previously did a savings annuity schedule. So we just paid in money over and over again till we accumulated a certain amount with interest. This time we're going to start with a specific amount. So here I have a picture of a spreadsheet where I'm starting with $300,000 in my account. The account is collecting interest at 3.5% per year, and I am withdrawing $2,000 per month, and I want to see how long it's going to take for the account to be emptied. So according to my calculations here, which we'll do our own version in a sec, it's going to take 198 months to withdraw $2,000 at a time, starting with $300,000. So let's build our own version. So this is, again, what we call a payout annuity, and it's like a retirement fund. So in my spreadsheet, like before, I want a month column, and I want a date column, and a payment column. I want to calculate the interest accumulated each month. So interest amount. And I want to see how the balance is changing. In this case, it's going to be a balance decrease because I'm withdrawing money. You could call it balance change if you wanted. And I want to know what is the current balance. All right, I guess I should capitalize those since I capitalized the others. Okay, and then, so we're gonna have, those are our columns, and then some initial information to start with is I need the APR for the account. I need the withdrawal amount that I'm gonna take out. And I need the current value. So let's call that present value of the annuity. And then eventually I'm going to figure out how many months it took for that to happen. Based on the months, I can tell you how many years it took for that to happen. I want to then also figure out what was the total interest I earned on the account while I was withdrawing money. And then I also want to know what is the total withdrawals. And all of this is spelled out in the assignment once you read through it. All right, so we'll calculate that stuff eventually, but first for the APR. So in this case, I want to pick a different APR than last time. Last time I picked 2.5, that has 3.5. Maybe I'll just pick 3%. As far as a withdrawal, let's say I want to withdraw $1,500 each month. And let's say my present value for this account is going to be 150,000. And let's format those two, make them pretty money. Currency format. All right. So filling out stuff here in month 0, right before I start pulling stuff, I am going to have a balance that is equal to the present value there. And then after that, month 1, let's say that's going to be this month. Make that August 1. I am going to, okay, so that says payment, that should be withdrawal. That's my withdrawal over there. So I'm just going to equals and click. And remember, like before, I'm always going to have that amount from that spot there. So I want to fix that row with a $ in front of the 2, which says always grab from row 2 for that number when I fill it down, right? So when I fill that down, it's always going to grab from row 2. All right, fill more down in a minute. The interest amount, well, it's just simple interest. So that's amount times interest rate times time. So in this case, I have my previous balance here. And we're going to multiply that by the interest rate here. And the amount of time that's gone by is 1/12 of a month, or of a year, sorry. All right, now going back to that formula, we want to fix a couple things. The balance is always changing. It's always going to be that up the row above a couple cells over, but the interest rate's always the same. So we want to fix that row with a $ in the formula. All right, balance decrease is going to be equal to, I earned this amount of interest, so that's a positive, but I'm going to take away this much money each month, right? So it's the interest amount I've earned, that's an increase, minus my withdrawal. So that's the change in balance there. And like before, I'm going to figure out the new balance by taking the old balance and adding to that this balance change. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the word decrease there and call this balance change. Okay, because I got the negative in there. So my account went down a little bit. Didn't go down by 1,500 because I earned some interest on the existing balance. All right, so those are our formulas. We're ready to fill those down. So if I take my formulas here and highlight all 4 of them, I should fill them down. And what I should see is that I'm always withdrawing 1,500 because I had used that fixed $2 formula there. The interest amount is going to change. So if we pick on some other row here, the interest amount is going to be always the previous balance. So that's the previous row's balance times the interest rate, which is always an H1 times 1/12. So all of these adjusted just as I'd hoped. This one is always going to grab the 2 cells next to it. It's going to be the interest amount minus the withdrawal. And then finally here for any row, the balance is always the previous balance plus the balance change here, which happens to be a negative, drawing the balance down. Remember to fill down numbers and dates, we need a series of 2 of them. So I have to add the next month, August, September 1, and I have to add a 2 here. And those have to be filled down with a pattern of 2 in a row. And I can either do that 1 row at a time, or 1 column at a time, or 2 columns at a time. So let's catch those up. Once they're caught up, I can do a row of 2 on all of these, and I want to fill this down until I have a 0 balance or close to it. It's not going to be exact. So let's guess at 100 and something, and you can see my account went negative here. So backing up to row 18 here, we're going to do 118 in my version. Yours will be different because you should have a different monthly withdrawal, a different starting amount, and a different interest rate. All right. So here, I'm going to delete, let's see, I can't afford to take out 1,500 because there's not that much in the bank. What can I withdraw? So I'm just going to delete this last payment. So I'll probably get a warning from the bank before I make my next withdrawal saying your account is almost empty. You have $324.42 in your account, plus whatever interest you earn over the next month. So that's what I can withdraw, the combination of these 2. So for my final withdrawal here, I'm just going to go equals, take my previous balance, add to that the interest is going to accumulate over the previous month. And now I have a perfect 0 balance. All right, now we're going to do our summaries. Again, feel free to back this video up and watch that again. I want to know how many payments I made. It's going to be the month, so I can count. And it doesn't matter what I count. I can count the date column. I can count the withdrawal column. I'm going to count the withdrawal. How many withdrawals did I make? I made 116 withdrawals. And I don't want to fill that down. How many years is that? Well, equals, take the number of months, divide by 12. 9 2/3 years. How much interest did I earn while I was withdrawing my money on my decreasing balances here? So that would just be the sum of the interest amount column. And that is money. So let's format it nice. I earned an extra $22,000, very nice. And total withdrawals here is going to equal the sum of all the withdrawals. And that ends up being not a perfect whole number. A lot of times it will, because we're always pulling the same amount. But remember at the end here, I had to adjust my final withdrawal to match what was left in my account. Let's see if I get the right column. Yep, it's good. And we just want that to be money. So let's see. Okay, so notice I started with $150,000 in the account. But because my declining balance there was still collecting interest each month, I gained interest. So I ended up pulling out more in the end than just 150,000 because my remaining balance is always collecting interest. And this is what's called a payout annuity. So let's adjust the bottom sheet, and I've answered all the questions that were asked about in the assignment. So this is a payout annuity schedule. And it's called a schedule because it's a month-by-month breakdown of how the account works. And there are formulas we worked on in this that you could double check, like how much is a withdrawal of $1,500 over 116 months worth now. So we have a formula that would confirm that that's about 150,000 if you want to check that. All right, thanks. Keep up the good work.